Deze is housekeeping awesome Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. What's up, insiders? We got a great episode for you guys. And as you can tell, we have some amazing special guests. Don and Christine Rodrigous, the promoters of the Ocean State Grand Nationals. How are you doing, guys?
Great.
Doing great. Getting busy.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Busy time. We are a month out. And thank you guys for joining us. And we're excited again to be a part of this and just continue to share just the growth and the amazing things that you guys are doing for the sport. I feel like of anyone, especially promoters wise, every year you keep stepping it up. And so thank you guys for doing that.
That's a good point.
Appreciate it.
So,
awesome. I got a question.
Let us know, guys, in the comments who is here and share. Go ahead, Alex.
Real quick, before we get into like the nitty gritty of it, how stressed are you guys right now?
Very.
Let's be real. The tournament's almost here. How stressed are you?
Yeah, we're very stressed. We do a lot of things that a lot of people don't see. Like our volunteers and our scorekeepers, timekeepers, officials. We always have a bag of stuff for them when they come in, and they help officiate and stuff. And to me, it shows us our appreciation with getting products that put in the bags and stuff like that. There, so getting that stuff in and getting all the bags made up is not easy, But
Yes,
wait a minute. You mentioned that before because it's not a turkey sandwich and a bag of chips. Good is what happens to some. So, but even then, that I don't want to poo-poo that. When you add that up for everybody, that is expensive. It just is. So, but what do you do for all your volunteers and officials?
we have different vendors that come in. What we get things from them, you know what I mean? And we'd rather technically get products from them and put it in there instead of saving money and stuff like that there,
Sure.
But naturally, we got a lot of our people that come in and they give us, they like the Sentry bags, for instance, they donate the bags to us, but we also get stuff from Asian Willow Martial Arts always sends us things. And Paul Mitchell, we always have stuff that goes in the bags for them. You know what I mean? Things like that.
Fighters Inc. is giving us some
Right,
stuff
Fighters
to put in
Inc.
there this time. And yeah, so it's a nice little, we get stuff from the city of Warwick that'll be in the gift bags. And, it's plus their polo shirt and whatever else. So whatever we can give the volunteers, whether they're scorekeepers or officials, it's definitely, we want to thank them for their hard work throughout the weekend.
Yeah, every official comes in, we give them a polo shirt and stuff. So, but that goes beyond. But we feel really good about giving the stuff out. To me, I feel like an official feels like they're appreciated when they get that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's some people. The best thing you get from them is a slap on the back and say thank you. You know what I mean? Which is okay, but. I think if someone grabs a bag and they got a bunch of stuff in there and it's really good, they have a different approach for the tournament. They want to do a better job, you know what I mean? And so forth,
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think,
Go ahead, Jeff.
You guys definitely, like you give back to your helpers, but at the same time, and your staff, at the same time, your staff does a great job too. To me, like, it's one of the most efficient tournaments, and honestly, when you think about the setup, especially the way you guys have it with different rooms, that could be hard, but you guys got it like down to a science. You guys got it figured out. And especially from hearing from the other people who bring underbelts on Sunday, that tournament runs smooth, and it goes, so talk about that as well. It is a 3-day tournament, but it makes it where you guys on Sunday, I mean, they have a good experience, right?
Right. Yeah. And, it's nice because a lot of them can have their instructors right there. Some instructors compete. So when everyone's going off at the same time, you miss your students and you're not there to coach them and cheer them on. So, the instructors and black belts can either sit, spend the day judging, or they can sit back and be out there coaching their team and their students and just enjoying it. And, the kids, the underbelts all get 7-foot trophies. So it's always a big deal for them.
That's awesome.
And, yeah. And, we do, with the black belts, we have open weight. We did open belt for the underbelts. So
Okay.
sometimes you could have, say a woman's 30 to 39 division, and maybe you don't have someone in there to fight, or, or a kid doesn't have someone to fight. And so, we do an open belt. So it's white to brown belt. Obviously the white belts probably shouldn't go in there, but, it's a white to brown belt division, but whether it's beginner, intermediate, advanced, it doesn't matter what rank they are, and they can all go in there. And the same thing with the adults, it's 18 and up, and we have that broken up by weight. But, but it's white to brown, and then, lightweight and middleweight and stuff. So it gives them a second chance to compete.
That's great. Yeah. Always adding that extra stuff for the under. I think they get left out so many times,
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Well, I think that kind of touches on a little bit about what we talked about last week with Damian Rodriguez. No pun intended here, guys. But he talked a lot about competition culture within where he's at in Miami. And he says that he'll go and do anything just to keep promoting the competition culture with where he's at. But I think adding other options for people to be competitive does breed more competition culture. And then what we have to do as a society of martial artists is decide, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And I think any opportunities where you have to do more fighting, I think is always a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Forms competitors can go in like a ton of divisions if they choose to.
Yeah, you said.
And that's kind of where the open weight came from, because fighters came and they could only do that one division unless they had a team. But now they can do teams, they can do open weight, they can do their weight division, they can do a different age group if they wanted to. So, there's a lot that if someone just fights, they can still get in a lot of divisions.
Yeah, it's great how that's changed over the past few years, and more tournaments are doing that. So thank you for keep leading the way for that, because that's just, that's what we need. Everyone needs more ring time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things the big thing that everyone's talking about is the $15,000 for adult open weight fighting. This year, you are doing, like you talked last year about, hey, you know what? We want to offer something for the females as well. And this year we're doing it. So talk about that and talk about the sponsors that are making this happen.
Well, we got two really good sponsors. First of all, the Zingari family.
And he's here. He just commented.
The Zingari family has been, me and Anthony has been very close for many, many years. But they run an Ocean State Collision, a body shop here in Rhode Island, and very successful. And he's a black belt. He's a martial artist. His uncle was my instructor too. You know what I mean? So, but the thing is that
wow,
a lot of people don't know that. But the Big Anthony, the father, I should say, is he really wanted to do something special. And we talked about this for years, and finally we put it together, So, the $10,000 that we're giving out for the men's fighting is, again, we're going to 8 places with it, We're giving out $4,000 for first, $2,000 for second. Both third places get $1,000 each, and 5th through 8th place get $500 apiece.
Love it.
That's
You can't make that up.
That's for the men's divisions. Now the women exactly are in half of that. They got $2,000 for the winner, $1,000 for the second place, $500 apiece for the two third place winners, and from fifth to eighth place, we're giving $250 for the women. So they got 8 places too.
Yeah.
Well, I think
And
what's
women-
awesome about this is the winner, you win, whoever wins your tournament, male or female, is essentially like winning 3 tournaments. Dollar amount,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? So
And the women's
if you were to sacrifice 2 other tournaments to go to Ocean State, it may financially be worth it for you.
You know, we had some great fighters last year too. We had some really good fights, and the women did show up. That was the
Yes.
thing, you know. And
Maggie Messina and the female fighters matter too.
she's fantastic. She
They're
really
sponsoring
is.
that women's division, and you know, I said it last year. You guys want to get the money, show up, and we'll do something next year. And we did have a good group of women last year. So
Yeah, and we made that announcement last year. You know, the women showed up this year, so we're going to take care of them next year. We did say that at our nighttime show, you know. And I got to tell you though, guys, me and Christine, we feel so good about giving the money out to these individuals at the tournament. I mean, it's one of the highlights of our night is to give them the money. We have big smiles on our faces when we do it because we want to show that we appreciate them coming there. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we're looking at 15,000 overall for that, you know, between the two. And then really it's not just in that, you know, we got over $35,000 in cash prizes. So we are giving the full, you know, for the 18 plus, the 1,000, we're giving the runner up money, which is something like, to me, I think is a key thing in our sport, right? Is having that there, you know, especially right now, a lot of our tournaments, because we're trying to cut down on the finals, you're running it off to the final 2. Well, you know what? If you're gonna get to stage, you did an extra thing for that. You did a lot extra to get there. So I feel like everyone should get cash prize if you're in the top 2. You know, so I think some people have avoided doing that, but I think it's very important for the growth of our sport too.
yes,
Yeah, you know, it really is. You know, I got to tell you that, you know, we work very, very hard to try to make our tournament the best tournament there is, you know. And I got to tell you that, you know, to me, we just want to run, like I just said, the best tournament we can. But, you know, when you're competing on the NASCAR circuit, and I want to speak out for all of the NASCAR promoters, they all work really hard, all the promoters, you know. And when you look at the NASCAR circuit, there's not another circuit like that in the world. Just so you know, out of the 12 tournaments we have, 10 of them have been 40 or more years running.
That's crazy, right?
10 tournaments been running for 40 or more years. Go into any circuit you want in the world and tell me somebody that has that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know,
Don,
I'm
you're right
really
on,
proud to be a
and-
part of the circuit. I'm really proud of all the promoters here and stuff. And we want to just do our part. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
and this
Yes, sir.
another one of our sponsors is the city of Warwick, and we're going to be
Yeah, you mentioned that.
we're going to be filming the nighttime show, and it's going to be on the CW channel again, and that's going to be 4 episodes every single Saturday. So people tune in on Saturday, you know, right around, was it 11:30 or
11 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. So for 4 Saturdays, and you know, that nighttime show gets broken up into 4 episodes, which is really cool. But speaking on that, you know, competitors that think they're going to be in the nighttime show should go to the link I've posted, and I believe you have it as well, Jeff,
Yes.
just to get choose some music for the royalty-free music for the nighttime show, and it doesn't cost you a penny to you know, request a song, but we just ask that
can't
people
use
do that
copyrighted stuff, right?
by the 21st of March, if you can do that. And you know, just in case you make it to stage. If you want to use music, you should do
Or
that.
Jeff is going to have to sing a cappella.
I'm not the singer in my family. That's my brother.
Now, wait a minute. You said that the CW isn't that the one with the dancing frog? That's the same channel, right?
Dancing Frog.
I haven't saw the dancing
I
frog.
think that's the one. I think that's the one with the dancing frog.
You might be right.
This is not. I mean, it's local, but it's nothing to poo poo. Like, this is a big deal.
Oh, it is over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they do a lot of really good work. I want to tell you, the way it's broken up, it's really awesome. Some of the episodes are really nice, but.
And I'm thinking about we've been holding off on the past years, but we're thinking about putting them up on YouTube so that people can actually see the previous year's episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, our mayor here in Warwick, he's a very big supporter of us. He's going to be at the nighttime show. We're also putting him into our Hall of Fame, and
Yes.
this guy here is really, he's a really great guy, Even when we had a bad snowstorm over here and a couple of trucks went down, he jumped in his own truck and did the plowing on the streets too. You know what I mean? That's what kind of a mayor he is, So
He is the man of the people.
yeah,
Yes.
he really is. He really is. So
That's huge.
I don't even know who my mayor is in my town. Jeff, you know who the mayor of your town is?
Yeah, we don't have a mayor. We're a little town. We're a little county.
Don't have a mayor.
Well, we got a sheriff.
Well, it's
all right.
time to go to the mayor, Jeff. There you go. There's our
Yeah,
next mayor.
Jeff, you should run.
Exactly.
We just got a sheriff. Okay. Who is getting in? Who are you guys inducting into your Hall of Fame this year? Because we've seen
yeah.
a lot of posts recently and several people. So explain that.
We have a handful of people. There's 8 people. We have Dawn Kemp, who is one of our black belts, and she's been, helping us out for years. And not only was she a competitor and, help scorekeep or judge or whatever you need her to do, she also helps out at the school prior, if we need class coverage because we're going out of our mind and stuff. So, she's kind of a behind the scenes type of person. And then we also have Eric and Ronnie, Eric Rudolph and Ronnie Presley, who helped coordinate for several years. And, they just really help make the event run smooth. And it's a tough job, a very tough job. I think last year was Ronnie's birthday when he was doing it, wasn't it? Yeah. And I was like, oh, the poor guy's working his butt off on his birthday. And then we have John Politi, who comes from Canada, and has been very helpful at the event as an official, but also coaches and once competed. And, he's one of our Hall of Famers. The mayor, Frank Bacozzi, as Don had just mentioned. And then we have our son Dante. He's been there since he was there when he was a couple months old.
He was technically there before he was born. Just didn't know it.
Competing and helping out and everything. And also Peaches Kirsten is going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. Again, a competitor, and she comes out and helps us judge now and stuff. So she's being inducted. And the last one was Reed Presley. So
Awesome.
He's won our event several times, and has just been there for years, and now as a coach.
And now we think it's pretty cool that Reed and Ronnie are going to be inducted at the same time too. You know what I mean?
That is cool.
And I think so. You know what I mean? And both those guys work really hard at the tournaments. They really do.
They do. One of the things that I wanted to talk about too was just, especially last year when I came in, that was one of the things I saw was just, I go in and I look to the smaller stage, and it's Dante and it's Chris and it's they're right there just in part of it, ready to help in whatever they can to, it's a big family atmosphere up there with you guys, and everyone's involved to make it the best they can be.
Yes.
Yeah, we're very lucky. We really are. You know what I mean? And, we've been running the tournament now for 42 years. But technically, we ran it even when we went virtual for 2. You know what I mean? And we kept it going then. But, it started off over the
That's a good
years.
point.
Over the years, we've had some great memories of people that have competed before, been here as special guests, and really made the tournament what it is today. The legacy continues. We always put that on our flyer. The legacy continues, and we really believe in that.
Now, who will be the special guest this year at the tournament?
Well, this guy here, as you saw, probably know, Zolt Moretti from Budapest, Hungary. And
Yes,
Zolt is a 10-time Wacko world champion, But, Zolt is one of the very few Europeans that have come to this country and made an impact. He come here and he ended up, you know what? I want to tell you, the first year, he didn't speak English. So there was a lot of hand motions, if when we were coaching him, And, 2 years later, we're at the U.S. Open. We're doing a seminar, and Zolt's speaking better English than I am. I mean, the guy learned how to speak English, and I got to take my hat off to him and Laszlo. They did a terrific job of learning the English and so forth, and becoming a part of what we do here. You know what I mean? And you know what?
They adjusted to our style.
They really did.
They
really
fighting
did.
and stuff.
And
I think that was really well put about that. I got a chance. I remember there was a time where Obeda Benwali and we kind of pulled Istvan Karali off to the side, and we just was like, let's just get in your head for a moment. And one of the things that he said, I make it a really big point for my guys that you have to have at least 2 languages, Hungarian and English, and then you can pick up anything else. He says, but they didn't really take it serious until they really started to do a couple of tournaments stateside, and then they realized, no, I need to learn English, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's interesting, because I don't ever remember him not speaking English, because obviously I didn't really communicate with the guy that well. So what was it like, though, when he didn't really speak English that well? What was coaching him like?
Go. That's all.
Make like this.
Hands.
He was so good. It didn't really take much for him to figure it out, if you know what I mean. But he was just such a great teammate. He helped other teammates. You know what I mean? And you never saw Zolt get mad. Zolt never got mad. He would just go out there and he would do his thing. And, he was a real example of what a fighter should be. He came here and listen, he went through a lot. Every time when we first brought him over, every time he went to fight, you would hear the chant around the ring, USA, USA, USA. Right. You know what I mean? And you know what? He just hung in there and he kept fighting and fighting. And you know what? Now he's bringing his wife and his newest born child to the tournament, which awesome. I can't wait to see, And who better to, how can I say, have as a special guest than Zolt Moretti? You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned.
That's awesome.
I mean, here's the thing. You do kind of have an embarrassment of riches to be able to do that. So, I mean, yeah, if you were to say this person or that person, you do kind of have an embarrassment of riches where you could go, maybe Pedro, but you've probably already had Pedro Xavier as a special guest before. All right. Or you name it. Right. You could have a lot of people, but I think Zolt Moretti in the history books will really go down as not just one of the greatest kickers of all time, because that's clearly what he is. I think he's going to go down as like, literally, if you didn't watch him, like you might think that you could, like, I know how to handle gut kickers. You wouldn't really understand Zolt Moretti. All right. And he's going to go down as really one of the best fighters. Right. So I think that's fantastic. I think to have him, wearing Paul Mitchell for, what was it, 10 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a long time. Or
No,
at
he
least,
was
or
with us
almost.
a long
at
time.
least.
Yeah.
We're also gonna have, for those people who want to get his autograph or just meet him, he's gonna be at the Ocean
Oh,
State
good
Collision
job.
Center booth, and they're gonna Ocean State Collision is gonna be giving out free Zolt T-shirts.
We had
you know.
special T-shirts
so-
made up for Zolt, and he's going to be. We're going to be giving them out to the competitors for free, and he can sign them and so forth. You know what I mean? So it's
good.
going to be a lot of fun.
So definitely stop by the Ocean State booth to get your free shirt, and before they go
Right.
quickly.
Yeah, well,
That's
and again,
so
because
important.
he was here for a long time competing, and really
Mhm.
now because YouTube's a thing, a lot of people, who knows when you'll be able to see him again, right? He's not fighting currently right now.
Not fighting.
It's not like he just comes here all the time. So take advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
I
No,
mean-
he listen. Zolt is a special person, and let me tell you, he's working for the Hungarian government right now.
Yeah,
I
I
do
know.
remember
So
that.
he's
Yeah.
he's doing really, really awesome, and I really, but Alex, you brought up. We got so many things going on that we forget ourselves what we have going on. Right? You know what I mean? But getting a Zolt T-shirt would be a pretty awesome thing to do too.
That's
We
all.
Well, I
also
think
have
that's fantastic
PFP.
that you guys are doing that, because one of the things that we do that we don't do in our sport is really, excuse me, is lift up and honor the people that were in our past, right? So if you were to have, like, let's say, okay, this happened with me, and I'm going to date myself to some people who were like, that's that guy, right? I remember getting Larry Lamb's autograph and feeling like this is the coolest thing in the world. I can't believe I got Larry Lamb's autograph. And for those kids who don't know who I'm talking about, he was one of the Ninja Turtles, one of the original Ninja Turtles, right? And I got his autograph, right? And that's what you wanted, right? When you're a kid and you're like, oh my gosh, him, right? And then guess what you want to do? You want to do what he does, what he did. And then now, not only do you have a purpose, you have an image to say that I'm going to do it the way he did, or better, maybe, right? So I think this is fantastic. I think it's absolutely great.
Thanks.
Oh man, I love it. All right, so Alex and I and you, we were talking before the show happened. What are some of the big moments, the most exciting moments of, let's see, what we're saying, 42, 44 years now, really, when you really think about it, of the Ocean State Grand Nationals? What were some of the highlights for you? Maybe a fight, maybe a form, maybe seeing something happen.
Well, we got so many things we don't know where to start from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Chuck Norris has been at our tournament twice, back in 2001 and 2005, and he was just phenomenal when he came here. You know what I mean? He took pictures with everybody. And you know what? He was a real class act when he came here, and we were always how can I say, big fans of his, and now I can personally say that we're good friends with him and his family. We exchanged Christmas cards and things.
Wow.
And just an awesome guy. He really is. And have him here at the tournament was a highlight for us anyways, I believe, But Christine, do you remember any of the things?
Yeah, I have a lot of highlights, like being when we debuted on the Atlantic team, when I was on that team, and we debuted at the Ocean State. So that was a big one that I remember.
And the following year, Paul Mitchell debuted,
Yes.
Exactly.
at the Ocean State,
And then I had the time where I fought for a Waco Pro title, and
Yeah,
right.
I think Dante was like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 months old, and I had the babysitter walking him around, and I can just hear him crying, and I'm like, oh God, I can't concentrate, and it was just and then it was supposed to be a 5-round match, and I told him, I'm like I have to 10-pointer in the first round, because I have had no time to train for this, like when you're promoting. And I told him that before time, but he's like, no, the students want to see you fight. All the local people want to see you fight. And I'm like, okay, all right. But as I got closer to the tournament, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna have to be a 10-pointer because I'm not gonna last 5 rounds
The
with all,
funny
all the work I'm
thing,
doing.
the funny thing about that fight, what I remember was when she scored the last point, and that the match, she goes, "That's it, it's over." I said, "Yep." Took 90 seconds.
Yeah, so
Whoa!
yeah,
That's so,
a lot
that's
of
crazy.
memorable, with special guests like Shannon Lee and just Don Wilson and Bill Wallace and
We had
just
Billy Blanks in there.
and Billy came in.
Cynthia
and,
Rothrock. Yeah, we had a lot of really good people over the years.
One year we had when we filmed the nighttime show, we had, and I have a picture of it, was Chuck Norris's original team. You had
Right. We had Bob Wall here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pat Johnson.
Pat Johnson was here. Exactly.
Howard Jackson.
Howard Jackson was here. Yeah, everybody
And
was. That was it.
Was Chuck there though too?
Chuck was there too,
So
yeah.
they were all there,
They're
and
together.
with a picture of them. And Pat Johnson used to always come in and commentate with Joe Corley or whoever, and God, may rest in peace. We really miss him, and
there's so many people. There's so many people that were on that stage that won grand championships and were special guests. And it just, I got to tell you, I went through my phone book the other day and I was telling her, I can't believe how many people are no longer with us. You know what I mean? That used to be there all the time. Not seeing Nasty there and Kevin there, and Gerald Dawson and just the list can go on. And it just like I'm saying, like Pat Johnson was always over there,
Richie Brandon.
And Richard Brandon, exactly, and I just, you know what, I'm so happy they were on stage and they were a part of this tournament. And that's what this tournament is. The legacy is these people I just mentioned,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I did have one of my videographers work on a video, and this person doesn't know a lot about martial arts. So I just threw at him tons of videos from 80s and moving forward all the way up until, this past year. And I'm like, well, if they won, they're kind of important, I'm like, just kind of, and he didn't know, of course he knew who Chuck Norris was and different people, but if you look at the clip,
He didn't know who Chuck Norris was?
No, he did.
No, he did.
Oh, he did.
No,
Okay.
but if you look at the clip, it was who was it? Anthony DeMarco's on there. You had Becca Rush. You had Billy. No, Nasty was fighting.
Yeah.
And he just pulled different people from different years and stuff.
Linda Denley fought on there. I mean, we had a lot of really, really good people there. And you know what? We've seen clips of John Frenette and Keith Harabayashi and people like that there.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Some of that was before we filmed, though.
No, we got that on film.
Oh, do we have?
I got it on film.
Okay.
We have it on film.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
camcorder in the corner.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, some of my biggest memories of things that happened were from the Ocean State as a kid. Like I remember last year we were talking about, first year I went, it was at an amusement park, you won't forget that, right? Like in between, before, after I competed, before the finals, we went and rode a ride or two and then came back, just fun stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun at the park there. And
Charlie the
Black Belt Chimp.
He was at the
yes,
park.
you can't forget Charlie the Chimp.
Charlie the Black Belt Chimp. He broke my stage at night because he kept jumping up and down on it. I had to have guys underneath it holding it up and fixing it while the competition was still going on.
Shut the front door.
No, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's a memorable time.
That is. Yeah, I mean, there's so many great things too. You know what? Like, it's cool looking back now. We have like Zolt coming there, and to me, that's a big deal because you guys always had people from Europe and other countries. I mean, I remember the year that the team from South Africa beat John and Mike in team forms. And they came and they killed it, and they represented. There were just so many. It was always a thing that was cool, and really the thing about, like, of all places, Rhode Island, right? but it's awesome, right? It's just really cool to see that, and you guys have been really, now, like, the treasure of that New England area. You know, you've been the tournament that could continue to keep going. And there's so much great talent that's came out of there. You know, we always go back to like Boston Taekwondo and you guys, so many different schools, you know, and Joe Greenhall and what everyone has done from that area. It's just amazing.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I was talking with Bailey Murphy in Atlantic City last year, you know, and I said to him, I said, I went pull him to the side. I said, you know, I'm really proud of how you've done. You know, I remember you when you was just a kid. You know what I mean? He said, I remember fighting your son Nico all the time. Him and Nico used to have battles, you know, and they used to beat one another all the time. But, you know, he said, that's where I got brought up. I got brought up into the Crane organization. I got brought up through that, you know what I mean, and so forth. And, you know, now look at him. You know what I mean? He's arguable one of the best fighter in the world, you know. And you know what? I'm really proud of what he's done. And, you know, a lot of the people that came out of this area, you know, it's, you know what? It's really cool. That's all I can tell you, you know. And we mentioned Pedro Xavier. Pedro is royalty here. He'll always be royalty, you know.
Wait a minute. Pause. Pedro's royalty everywhere.
He's got to be. He's got to be. He's got to be.
But you're right.
That's
he
right.
is.
Yeah. I know that was one of the big. Oh, I was just going to say, Alex, one of the biggest thing for me and surprises was one of the only times I get to see Joe Pena is at your event, but to see him in Chicago this year was like, whoa, what in the world? Like it was just a surprise. I thought I had like, I don't know, I thought I wouldn't see anything right. Like, whoa, all right. I'm expecting you in a couple months, but you know, just so many great competitors from that area. So we, you know, all of us need to thank you for providing a tournament and also being a part of Crane as well and pushing that and giving something like that. So
yeah, we're pretty happy about it. You know what I mean? We're satisfied with the way things have gone. But I got to tell you something else that you probably don't hear enough, Jeff. You know, you guys having this show here means a lot too. You know what I mean? You educate the people a lot that don't know much about the sport and so forth. So hats off to both of you guys for coming out and doing what you're doing. We need more of that. You know what I mean? I think you guys do a terrific job. And I think I pulled Alex to the side one time at Minnesota, I think it was, and said I appreciated what he does for the show, what he does for sport karate and how he's educating more and more people, both of you know what I mean? And both being competitors from before, you know how it is. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so,
yes,
you know, I just want to know. I just want to thank you both. Really do.
Thank you. I really appreciate.
Well, we appreciate you guys as well. And there's so many, and thank you for that. But you know, Jeff and I do this so much because we love it. All right,
right.
But it is. But whether there's a camera on or not, isn't this kind of what we do at karate tournaments anyway? This is kind of what we do. We do this right here.
Right.
And we do this and we sit down and we talk about, okay, how about this? Throughout the 90s, I really didn't compete at Ocean State. And I remember always hearing like, man, you missed this. You missed what Jimmy Pham did this time. Did you see what John Valera did? And you should have seen this combo. And then you got to go back and hope that Wally got it on VHS, and then you can buy it at the next tournament. And that's the way I lived. Like I lived like, damn it, I missed it again. Right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't go, I always had to live through VHS, and then maybe I could catch some clips while they would do like the little repeats with for like the eliminations, and then I'd catch what Jimmy did, you know, in the finals. That guy was awesome. Let's talk about royalty.
Yeah.
Jimmy Pham. Come on. Is that guy not royalty? That guy.
Exactly. Oh man. Well, thank you guys so much. And again, guys, if you haven't checked out, go to their Facebook page, Ocean State Grand Nationals. Get signed up for the tournament. Get your hotel rooms.
Yes.
If you haven't
Any problem?
do that. Yeah,
Any problem with hotel rooms? We have a lot of backup hotels that, you know, where it's tons right near the airport, and everything's like, you know, 2 to 3 miles away from the hotel, the main hotel. So
Rhode Island's kind of small. We don't even have phones. We kind of just yell out the door. You know what I mean? So the hotels aren't far away.
before you go, name 2 great restaurants that people have got to check out while they're there.
I mean, I like if you like Italian and kind of not a place to really take a whole gang of kids, but quiet
yes.
dinner, a few adults. Portofino's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Portofino's.
Is good.
Okay.
It's a good Italian restaurant.
It is. It is.
I don't know. Name another one.
Well, Bertucci's is always a favorite there.
Yeah, but that's
we
little
got
bit
the
of a chain.
hibachi. We got the hibachi grill. No, Shogun's.
Shogun's is good if you like
Really,
Japanese.
Really good.
Very good. And the Crow's Nest is one that everyone goes to because it's pretty close to the tournament.
Right.
And it's on the water.
Yeah. Isn't that one down there too? Isn't there a Coast Guard house down there as well?
The Coast Guard house is a little bit of a ride if you have a car, willing to do an Uber. But that's down in Narragansett. That's
It's
beautiful,
awesome.
beautiful down there.
Really awesome. It really is. Yeah.
Awesome.
See,
I love it.
Just
I love
another
it.
reason to go to Ocean State.
Yeah.
Yeah, the food's great up
Good
there.
food.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And we will see you in a month.
Yes.
Fantastic. Can't wait.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Y'all
you.
have a blessed
Thank
night.
you.
Just got me thinking about scallops the size of your fist, man. I mean, I'm telling you, when you're out in the New England area, if you have scallops for the first time, you're just ruining it for yourself, right? First
Right.
time I ever had scallops, I was out in that area, and I don't even try to get scallops anymore unless I'm out there, because every other time I've tried to get them, they just stink in comparison. It'd be like trying to get mussels in Italy for the first time. It ain't gonna be the same.
Oh man. So that was great. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love having them on. And again, each week we're going to just be sharing our memories and the things that we're looking forward to this event. And just, we really need to thank them for, wanting to be a part of what we do here at Martial Arts Internet Network. So
time.
really thank you guys so much. All right. So that's exciting. So much going on. Let's see, martial arts wise, we got a lot going on that is newsworthy. And actually, you know what? Actually, you're not on the internet right now. You're not on social media right now. So you probably don't know anything that's going on with all the
Fill me in. Fill me in.
social media
Is this
craziness.
weird that you get to fill me in on different
Yeah.
things while everybody else in the world knows? I'm just this ignorance is bliss kind of thing. But tell me, lay it on me.
So, we talked a little bit about Compete Nationals and just the different things and and maybe some judging things that people were bringing up, right? We've also, let's see, Andrew Cabalon put out a post about, that people shouldn't necessarily come up to the judges afterwards and ask them, well, why'd you give me that score and things like that? And saying that, really, that's not the professional thing, like what other sport does that happen? I gave you my job is to give you your score, not to give you tips or anything else. Right.
Yeah.
And then actually this week or this weekend, Jared Liker put out a video, a very professionally done video, on his, I think Law Sensei is the page. Go check that out. And really talking about that, like what are the things that sport karate, the open sport karate circuit needs to do better at. And it was mostly towards officials. And it was mostly about why is a parent coming up to an official? And why is the official talking to the parents? Why, what other sport does that happen? Are you going to see a fan or even the mom of, let's say, a basketball player come on there and complain to the ref? No, they'll get thrown out, and I think
They do that.
it's a very important.
They do that
Huh?
all the time.
Yeah, and they get thrown out.
It's wrong. Just because they do it
Yeah,
doesn't make it right.
And they're
Oh
escorted
yeah,
out.
they get belligerent. They get.
So I think that, one of the biggest things for us right now is what is going to be the evolution of sport martial arts. And what's funny, this is funny how this has happened, right? Because let's see, I think we talked about this last week too. What episode was it? 2, 3, 4, 5? Didn't I say about? Didn't I
Oh,
say
I
about?
know.
Hey, there needs to be a separate hotel for the judges and a
I
separate hotel for players. They don't need to be mingling.
Well,
They don't need to be
so
doing. How are we going to grow our sport? And here's the deal: we need a massive overhaul to make that happen. And I didn't get to bring it up, and I'm into, but Christine has been someone who's been really pushing and trying to do this NASCA certified officials thing. But you know what? She can't do it by herself. And honestly, Mark Russo's helped a lot with that too.
right.
And I'm sure other people have as well. But it has to be a big thing for all this, right?
Well, talk me through that.
There's
Let's just talk
yeah.
about it. Let's just talk about the idea, because I remember at the time when you said that, I said,
You thought
you're absolutely crazy. You're nuts. You're nuts. You can't do that. You're nuts. But at least walk me through what your thought process is. Let's say it's Ocean State and the hotel's sold out.
Mhm.
You're saying the official doesn't even stay at the hotel. They have to stay somewhere else.
Yeah, so the hotel. No. All right.
Well, that's why I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, you have
Like
two
if it's like
hotels, right?
like if it's the U.S.
have a
Open where they're in
hotel.
Disney World, like I don't know, like technically they'd be in like Casitas, like I don't know, 34 or
Yeah,
whatever. I
you
don't
could
know.
book them. You could have your officials on one side of that, and then your players be in another side. And when people say, "Are you an official or are you a competitor?" There'll probably be a different. I mean, most of the time, the officials, the promoters taking care of them in some way. So they're booking it in one way. The other ones are booked somewhere else. That's separate, right? That's a big enough place where you can do that. Or you can have them on.
Okay.
Some of these hotels have different sides, right? So you could do that. Again, that doesn't change the mingling in the lobby and dinner. So like
Yeah.
this.
So you're
The
saying
thing
none
is,
of that.
what I'm saying is this isn't a crazy idea, because Waco does
Yeah.
it, WKF does it, a lot of other, you don't go and they're mingling with everyone else, right? The judges don't go to the competitors, you're not allowed to go up and argue and ask about this or that, before, after, or whatever.
True.
Parents aren't right next to the judges in their ear yelling at them and telling them this, that, or the other, there isn't that. So, and again, it only seems crazy or too far-fetched because you
We've never
haven't
done it.
thought of it, because you've never done it, right? And
Right.
today my instructor talked to us. We do our association does a Zoom call every Monday morning, and he just talks, gives us a tips on what we need to do with our school or how to train better or different things, right? And he was really talking about the book 10x is greater than 2x, right? And what do you and that's it's a great book by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Hardy, right? I think it's Ben Hardy. So what he's saying is you have to, if 2x is going to happen anyway, if you just keep doing what you normally do, you're going to grow, right? You're going to keep growing. But 10x is, I have to think of that impossible dream. I got to think of something that's like so far-fetched that I'm not there yet, right? And for you to get that, you got to change who you are. And truthfully, the big excuse that we always get of why it hasn't happened yet in our sport is because it works the way it is. It will never happen because no one wants to put the effort in to do it. Well, then it won't change unless we think of it differently. We as a sport have to think, okay, I want to be professional. We think, well, let's just get a little better, or let's just keep doing what we normally do because, we made a little money this year. If we all think about it, our sport's going to stay the exact same place that it is. So the key thing is we got to flip it on its head, man. We really do. We have to go to that next thing. We got to think of that impossible dream, that impossible goal to really get it where it wants to be. And that starts with the judges. Right. It starts with the professionalism and the mindset we have to grow.
Well, I don't disagree with that. because the biggest deterrent for someone competing, because if you don't have competitors, you don't have customers, because
Right.
competitors are customers. There's a product, the tournament. Okay, that's the product. And there's your customer, the competitors. Okay. That's your the biggest deterrent for continued customers or returning customers is if they
Mhm.
feel like there's nothing in it for them, or the squeeze isn't worth the juice, and
Right.
if they feel like they were just going to get robbed, right? So one of the biggest things, it was so funny. This is so funny. I'm literally going to quote what I had texted to me. Was it yesterday? My homie Dominic Craigle. Shout out to Dominic. I gotta find this. He just texted not that long ago. I gotta pull this up. It's the funniest thing. Where the heck is it? Tom, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull this up because he sent me this. He was like, hey, remember this? Here it is. Here it is. And he was like, hey, isn't this crazy? Remember when this happened? And he said, when a judge told him, this goes right back to what you were just saying. Why are the judges even coming up and talking to them? All right. Says, you know how it goes. Got to give it to the local guy, even though you were better.
Wow.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So
Like, what? What kind of madness is that? But you know what? I
Right.
never really wanted to go talk to a ref afterwards. Not because like why did you give me this? For no other reason than what difference is it going to make now? And
Right.
I
Right.
don't want this to sound arrogant, although I know it's about to. But if I'm doing an opener extreme forms and I'm looking at that ref, I already know. I know 200 times more than they know, right? About
Mhm.
extreme forms. Why in the world would I ask them? And that's the messed up part. We knowingly are putting judges, officials, and referees in positions where they are not more knowledgeable than the people who are even performing and competing. Doesn't make any sense, right? It
So,
doesn't make
Alex,
sense.
you know what we said, and we've said this many times too, and I've talked to you about this and my students about this. If this is what you love to do, this is what you want to go after, then
Uh-huh.
you watch film. You watch it. You know the sport.
Yep.
Anything you can get your hands on, you watch.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think the judges need to do the same. And the judges should be watching every CMX video they can. They should be
Well,
watching every different thing they can. And you know
you're
what? I
right.
think
But
you're
then
right.
the
That's
fact that
something
they're not, what
what
does
we're
that tell you?
Yeah.
The fact
They're
that
not
they're
putting-
not says that they're just not in it. That's not in
Right.
it for them, right? And I
Um,
think sometimes honesty, wouldn't it be, who can I use as an example that would not be bad? All right. You know what? Let's just say you, Jeff, because this would not be the case. Let's just say someone were to ask, like, hey, Jeff, will you judge this weapons division? Let's just say, but just put yourself in this mindset, even though I know this would never be the case, where you might think,
Alex, you got to get some better internet, bro. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. We will patiently wait for Alex to come back. But I think what he was going to say was if there's a vision I didn't feel comfortable with, and then they put me in there to judge.
dude, I hate that this thing keeps doing that. I think it's because we're recording. I don't know what it is, but it's driving me nuts. But anyway, yes, you're right. Well, what you were saying. It's like if they were to put you in this position, like, hey, Jeff, we want you to judge this division. For you to just say, I am not going to be that good, right? But the problem is I think sometimes we might say that, and the coordinators will be like, no, you just don't want to judge.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just don't want to judge. But then shouldn't that tell you as well? So why would you want me to go and judge in a situation where you know I don't want to be there?
Right.
So if you know I don't want to be there, and maybe I'm not that confident, or maybe my mind's going to be anywhere else than they're right there. Why do you want me there? Right? Unless it's just a situation where you feel like you know me and I'm saying, come on, man, do I really gotta? Come on, Alex, just do me a solid. Just do these 2 divisions. You know you got it. I go, okay, all right, I guess. Okay. And you can look at that and go, okay, yeah, I know Alex is good for it, but how many times can you keep doing that and go, yeah, I know he's got it. No, you got it. At some point, someone's got to be vetted, which is why I do like the WACO system and that they grade their judges.
Yes.
So we could be certified, and I think we need to be. All right. I'm saying we, put myself in there as well. All right. Right. We need to be certified, but while you could certify a brick, doesn't mean it's going to do a good job. Right. So if I'm certified, but then someone's also evaluating me, right? Maybe I could be evaluated higher because some officials want to be placed in prime time, divisions, right? I want to judge the women's overall.
Only put me in black belt. I'm not going to judge.
Only put me in the black belts, right?
Yep.
But and now I understand where it's like, okay, so do you want to give your worst judges to the intermediates who are trying this thing for the first time? Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
it's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah. No,
nobody wants a weak link, but what are you going to do? It's a process.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think, I mean, to me, like that's where the sport evolves and it grows. And, we got to really start reaching out, but also giving to those judges to make it worth it for them. We also got to create programs, like not everyone can get to an event to do a training. So this is 2024. Like put the trainings on the internet. Do it. This week I have to do a 2-hour coaches training before I go to the tournament in Maryland for the AAU Taekwondo, or I'm not going to be able to coach my kids, and I need to write that down. So I do that tomorrow. But literally just remind myself. Thank you.
That was a funny one there.
That's a funny one. But like those types of things have to happen, and it's accessible. Same thing for the judges. The judges have that to do all throughout the AAU Taekwondo. I'm sure it's the same thing with karate as well, but I just know for Taekwondo it's there. So I just think we need more focus on that. The other thing I was going to say, accountability is key, right? And one of the things that, because we have the deviation system, right? And,
which I hate, but all right.
The system automatically bumps their score up, but it doesn't show if it was bumped up or not. And I think we need to show that. There were some judges that in compete that their score went from a 9.4 to a 9.7. We need to show that in there that was a change, so that way we can educate that judge better and help them, not call them out and alienate them. That's where we mess up. We think accountability means kick them out and they're awful and let's bash them on the internet and Twitter and X and all that. No.
Right.
They may just need some education.
But also it looks like, but then it also looks like this judge doesn't know what he's doing because he just gave everyone a 9.7. When in reality, he didn't give everyone a 9.7.
No, right. Exactly. True.
So listen, I'm going to go on record and saying I hate the 2-point deviation. I think it's bad. I don't think it's true. Right? You're asking me to give a score. I give you a score, and then you want to change the score I gave. Like, well, why did you even want me to give the score? You gave me a score, and then you want to police my score. Well, then you give the damn score. Why don't you just have the computer do the judging? You made me sit here, watch everything. I give you the score, and you don't even use it. Talk about a reason to give someone to not want to do it anymore. That is a reason right there to give people a reason to not want to do it anymore. You ask them to sit there all day long, judge divisions, give a score, and then you don't use it.
So
I would
tonight,
feel pretty damn unappreciated.
so I just think that that's where we need to focus, is on the evolution of sport martial arts, is on the judging, on the professionalism, getting better, security, barriers, that type of thing, and I think it's key. And I think it's key to the sport. It's not going to hurt the sport. It's going to grow the sport. And safety as well. We do have to
What do you mean
improve.
security and safety? What do you mean?
Well, you know what I mean? Like, make it, like, honestly, let's not joke around. The Waco setup is just better. It's more professional. It's
Way
better
more
for our
structured.
sport. It's structured that way. It's
Right.
Like, you're not having everyone out all over the floor doing this and that. No, it's structured better. And so we need to get to a place that it's better that way. And again, for us in our sport karate world, oh, but we like this. And I get it, but it's not the way of the future for us to take it to the next level. Like I'm saying, well, we're not even visualizing it that way, or even thinking of it as a tangible goal, because no one's put themselves in that position yet, but this is just the way it always is. That's not a good
what's
answer.
funny is the Waco system and the NASCA system. It's like the NBA versus European basketball. Let me explain. Okay.
Oh, God.
Does anybody think that, Elijah Everill's not fighting anymore? Okay. He's not. Okay. So let's just chalk it up. The best fighters in the world, they're all in the States. Now, if Elijah Everill decides he's going to fight again, okay, that changes some things, but that's one guy. Now, there are some really good, talented fighters, okay, that are in Europe, all right? There's a lot of them, all right? And it's deep, right? It is deep.
Yeah, it's
You
deep.
can't,
You're
not going to get me to pick. You're not going to get me to pick any of them against any of the top people in the States. I'm not going to do it, right? Talent-wise, skill-wise, athleticism, all right? Boom. Stateside, they're the best, okay? That's the same with the NBA. Any American-born basketball player, like, they will literally jump over all of you, all right? There's one athlete, right, who's playing in the NBA, who's from Europe, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's it. He's the only person who's really athletic. Everybody else jumps 2 inches off the floor, right? Right? And you know what's crazy? None of them play any defense. None of them do, right? They're just not that great at it. But you know what? They're so good. They're so good at their technical skills, right? They're so team-oriented because they have to, because they can't jump worth a lick. They're all slow, right? What am I? I'm not saying anything's not watching. When you get a guy like Maxie Strauss, who's like 6'10", right, and is getting just smoked, right? But the guy sits out there and he can stroke threes like no one's business, right? He's pretty damn good, right? Probably guys in here don't even know who Maxie Strauss is. Maxie Strauss is a wing player for the Cleveland Cavaliers, everybody. All right. I know everybody doesn't watch basketball. I do. But anyway, all right. He's a pretty good basketball player. He's okay. He's pretty good. Okay. But there's guys who aren't even in the G League who are 10 times more athletic than this guy. And I'm not trying to, BS on this guy or trying to, poo-poo him, right? He's a good basketball player. And that's the same thing when it comes to European fighters, the Waco system, and the NASCA system. Listen, I think the most talented, the most skilled, I think they're all on the NASCA side. I think most of the Europeans are not super tough, right? I think there's a handful of them that are pretty tough, right? And when I say tough, I mean you could break their nose and they'll still want to fight, all right? I think a handful of them are pretty tough, and I think the rest of them are going to be Italian soccer players, right? No, it's just what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying anything nobody else has already said. I'm not saying anything nobody else has already thought, right?
Oh,
but you
man.
got to tip your cap to their structure, right? And we've got a lot to learn, right? And now that we have a stateside WACO system, NASCA better buckle up.
Oh.
Better buckle up, because now you got stateside athleticism, you got stateside talent, you got stateside ambition and passion that wants to employ that type of structure as well.
There we go. Okay.
Better get your game right.
There we go. Yeah. No,
I'm still going to pick the states. I'm still going to pick NASCA,
Well,
but
but again, it has really nothing to do with the talent. Like, the issue isn't that.
yeah,
The
it
issue
does.
is the issue. No, it doesn't. The tournaments aren't. We're not really having issues with the talent. We're having issues with people. I mean, everyone's showing up because of. Okay, there's maybe it's not even that. Let's just say because the talent is good. That's the reason why people are coming, because they want to be and compete with the best. And also, I think in some of these tournaments do a good job at promoting, and they have an awesome. They have some that you don't see in other sports or even in martial arts in a finals. That's something different. That's exciting, right?
Correct.
And you see the grand championships and the open weight. It's different in that way. But the issue is with the organization. Honestly, some of the, I mean, again, hats off to everyone who coordinates and to Uventex and Mad Action for everything. That's awesome. But it's the structure of it. Like, it's hard to figure out what's going on and who's up and who's winning and everything else when it's all spread out all over the place, right? So
it's easier for someone who has never been to a martial arts tournament to understand the WACO side.
Right. The WACO side compared to the NASCA side, yes. And so hopefully that we work together. And I think it doesn't need to be watch out, WACO's taking over NASCA. I don't think that needs to be a thing. I think there needs to be
I'm not saying that.
Together and a movement to, all right, how can we make these tweaks? How can we make these tweaks to make it professional? So again, we don't get left out, because again, like Mr. Rodriguez was saying, these terms have been around a long time. 10 of those terms have been over 40 years. That's amazing, and that's been part of, heck, my whole life, yours too, and it's like, we want to keep that legacy going. We've talked so much about the WACO tournaments in Europe. Some of the top events that we always heard about aren't there anymore,
Yeah.
And let's not let that happen. There were so many great events in the NBL that aren't happening anymore. Now that right now is up to us, and also to keep that legacy alive. Just because an event isn't happening anymore, that doesn't mean that its history doesn't mean anything either. Because we still clamor on about the history of Bluegrass Nationals. Like those records, those things are important. So let's keep that going no matter what.
Well, you and I will always do that. We'll always talk about, listen, Bluegrass Nationals was this, World Series of Martial Arts / Charlie Lee Nationals was that, and it was a big deal. I loved that.
Super Grands,
right?
Super Grands. Yep.
Yellow Rose, right? Big deal, right?
Yep.
So, but who's to say that this next tournament, that maybe Jim Haymore's North Georgia Open, right, doesn't continue to grow and grow and grow and become a big deal? Maybe the Infinity National Championships. I think if that thing got some serious legs, and people just got around that tournament, I think they're going to have a great experience. And I think it has the potential to grow to 3,000 plus people. All right. It does. But who are we to say that in 3-4 years, one of those tournaments is not going to be the best tournament in the world? We don't know. I mean, right now, what's the best tournament in Europe?
I don't know. I mean, it could be
Bristol.
Bristol Open.
Bristol. Yeah, it's got to be Bristol right now. Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know. Is it
it
Athens?
seems like
Bristol?
What's up, Leandro? I mean, I'd say maybe the Hungarian or the Italian. You know, those two, either of those
Point
events,
Fighter
the
Cup?
cups, Point Fighting Cup, you know, there's a lot of events, that are growing and doing great. So I don't know. I mean, but again, they're continuing to go and they're doing things in a positive way, and it's cool also to see some of the events happening in other countries too, like in South America and Latin America that are growing. So overall, man, let's just focus on how to push this forward, and even in a way that maybe we didn't even think about, because that's how we're really going to become better. So,
Agreed.
all right, Alex, this
Yo,
weekend, what you got?
Can I tell you
What
what
you got?
happened? I did tell you what happened last weekend.
Yeah,
Over
yeah,
the
yeah. You
weekend?
tell us.
Dude,
Yeah.
I got it. I have to talk about this. It was
All right, let's go.
I can't I haven't been able. Have you ever been to one of these things before, Jeff?
I've never been to a monster car one, but I've been to like a motocross.
Yeah,
Like,
that I've done. Okay, so listen.
yeah.
So my son Zachary is really into monster trucks. All he wants to do is watch Monster Jam videos. Apparently, I didn't know this. Monster Jam, it's kind of like, of course, it's the lens I look through. It's kind of like a karate circuit, right? Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Monster Jam.
they have
To
these
me,
different
it's like,
cars.
yeah, it's the pro
Right.
wrestling. It's the WWE of monster
That's
cars.
actually more accurate, right? It's the WWE, right? Only there. I mean, these things. There's no two ways about it. This thing is pretty intense, right? So
Yeah, I don't think so,
we walk in, we get these big, we get really good seats, and I think we got the best possible seats you can. So we're down low, we're right next to the tunnel, and I mean we're right on the corner, right on the edge of the seat, and the trucks are going to come literally 2 feet from my leg is where they're
Yeah.
going to come out from, right? It is without a doubt the loudest experience of my entire life. I could not believe how loud this was. So I get these tickets, just Zachary and I, and they are expensive, right? Which I couldn't believe, right? It's just a bunch of just a bunch of dads and their boys. That's what it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I walk in, we're at Allstate Arena, right, in Rosemont, Illinois, and we walk in, and everyone's got these
Rosemont
headphones
Horizon,
like
yeah.
they're at the gun range,
Yeah.
and I don't have any. And I'm like, immediately, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a massive fail. And I know immediately, like, I cannot let him go in there without any ear protection. I totally forgot. Pull
Yeah.
a guy aside, like, hey, how important is this? And they're like, no, you absolutely need it. So I'm like, all right, I'll get him a pair. And the guy's like, oh no, for you too. And I'm like, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
No.
it starts out, I shared this video with Jeff, and every single truck that's there, they all come out and they're intentionally just boom, they're just punching it.
Yeah.
And we're inside a dome, so everything echoes, right?
Well, especially
And
there, especially at Rosemont Horizon. That's what's known. Sorry, I still call it the old school name. I know it's Allstate Arena, but it was always Rosemont Horizon, and that was something that, because the top of that is actually wooden, so it echoes in a different way, right?
So
Sorry.
and think about where I am proximity. They are right next to me, and the tunnel echoes there.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing that. So Zachary's he's got the headphones on, right? Where are those things? Are they right here? Oh no, hang on. Hang tight.
Oh,
This is it right here. Hang on, look at it. Of course, my
yeah,
kids leave
they're
everything.
like, yeah,
Let's get these
they're
things.
like, yeah, it's kind of like what I wear when I go to a NASCAR
The gun
race.
range. Oh,
Well,
there
yeah,
you go.
a gun range too, yeah.
Yeah,
And
right.
NASCAR is kind of the same way, but people do the other thing, and they get the ones that had the radio, and that way they can hear what's going on as well as they're watching.
Oh, I suppose.
I don't know if they have that with Monster Jam.
They didn't know. Well, I don't know. All right. So they do that, and immediately I'm like, I'm laughing. It's so loud. Like, oh my goodness. Right.
Yeah.
So thankfully, this dad behind me taps me on the shoulder and gives me a set of earplugs. I would have never made it, because I'm thinking in that moment, like, There's no way we can last. I cannot last like this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in there. Now I'm in there and I'm looking, and Jeff, it is absolutely packed, right? Like, I mean, there's some open seats, but I'm like,
Right.
oh my gosh. Right. And they were there for 3 different shows, right? That over like 2 days, there's 3 different shows. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this place is absolutely packed. And that's just for these cars that are going to absolutely demolish themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe martial arts tournaments have it backwards. Maybe this is what karate combat needs to look like. Instead of always competing, instead of always doing this, let's put on, is there a way? Should we be
Yeah.
doing like a massive show to everyone?
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
You can't just do that out of nowhere, because who the heck is going to want to watch, right? So the reason why we
I got
went
some
is
ideas.
because the reason why we went is because all he wants to do and see is monster trucks. And why is that all he wants to do and see? Because that's all he sees, right?
Mhm.
So it never ends. Like the moment you stop seeing it, like on TV or YouTube or anything like that, like that's it. Then your target market plummets, it dies, because now
Right.
you don't have anybody who's interested in your product. So it's not just one thing, right? It's huge. Everybody wants it. So I mean, Jeff, when we were kids, how many different cartoons that did karate or martial arts did we see and have? At one point, there was a Karate Kid cartoon. People forget that. There was actually a Karate Kid cartoon. As cheesy as it was very 80s,
It was.
but it was really cool, right?
Yeah.
Right. Even some of the other
Sure.
things like Thundercats, they fought people,
Yeah.
right? Even the
Hong
Power
Kong
Rangers.
Fooey. Hong Kong Fooey.
There you go.
Right.
All right. Everything.
I mean,
Ninja
right
Turtles.
now,
You name
right now
it.
with Kung Fu Panda, you know?
So there was a lot of different
Yep.
things.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I got kids. We want to watch whatever. You know how many things have martial arts in them? Nothing.
Just
Nothing.
this one.
What?
Kung Fu Panda. Man. Kung Fu Panda. Go check the newest one. Right?
Listen, I'm telling you, I got 3 kids, different ages. They're not interested. I'm just saying, right? And I'm pushing it, right?
Yeah.
So but that's the thing. As soon as you stop one thing, like it all kind of plummets, right? There's never one thing that's the answer. I just was looking at that and was like, oh man, this could have been, who would have known? I don't know. What's happening, Mark? Mark, you gonna set us up with Chuck?
That's right. Oh man. All right. So we had a great show. Go out and register and go support the Ocean State Grand Nationals. And it's going to be a great event this year. This weekend, I'm heading to Gaithersburg, Maryland for the AAU Potomac Valley qualifier for AAU Taekwondo. So I'm excited to talk about that. When we get back, I'll be competing in forms, weapons, and fighting. So, and then
wait a second.
Yeah,
you're competing in forms, weapons, and fighting.
Yeah.
It's got to feel
That's
a little
what I did
easy.
this weekend.
Doesn't that feel like a vacation?
Well, not really, because here's the deal. Forms, depending on how many I have, it's head to head every round. So each division
never mind.
do 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 forms. Same thing with weapons. So yeah, who knows? We'll see. And this weekend I competed in Virginia Beach and I won first in forms, weapons, and fighting, and won the forms grand. So was a good time. All my students did well. And I have about 8 or 9 going to Maryland this weekend for the AAU tournament. So excited for that. There's a big one in Michigan this weekend as well that I have some of my students that I teach virtually going to, and some Revolution guys going out to. So it's cool to see and to hear about some other of our open circuit people competing in the AAU and the NKF and the Taekwondo and the different ones. So hoping to talk about that more next week. All right, man.
Great. I'm excited about it.
Yes, sir. And he froze. This has been another episode with Alex and Jeff. I'm Jeff Doss. That guy was Alex Demon. See you guys next week. Have a blessed one, guys.